this room, at least mentioned on one occasion. For those of you that haven't, I apologize. I'm an attorney, 35 years old, originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I was raised by a single parent, ultimately my grandparents in a trailer park on Brooks Road, some of the meanest streets of Memphis. Moved to Adamsville, Tennessee for high school and then UT for college. Always wanted to be a lawyer ever since I saw the movie Kill a Mockingbird. Maybe y'all seen that movie. Inspired me to do that. My mother, she never graduated high school. My father graduated college, but they were never together. They dropped me off at UT with $50. Said, you're going to need to eat, you better get a job. Better start doing it. So I worked my way through college, moved here in 2001. This December will be my 8th year in Nashville. Went to the National School of Law, worked during the day, law school at night. Couldn't find a job as a lawyer. There's a lot of them out there in Nashville. Went door to door, every law firm around town. Probably got turned down at least 225 times. But I can recall, and I have the letters to look at them to remind me that it's not easy. Went to a law firm, told them I'd work for free. They'd already turned me down. I was silly enough to go back and ask them again. Said I'd work for free. I did for 6 months. Turned out to be one of the greatest decisions I ever made. Even though I was back on my college budget eating those beanie weenies and ramen noodles and all those things. I come here before you today. There's going to be an election November 12th. Early voting starts October 23rd, which is 10 days from today. The reason I moved to this neighborhood is because it's much like the neighborhood I came from. Very much like, except the crime's not near as bad. I came here to be an example to our youth that we all have circumstances. And no matter your circumstances, you can achieve your dreams. I'm living proof. I want to be here working for you guys to create an environment where business will want to come and bring jobs. One of my clients is on that board, Comcast, one of the largest employers in the country. I represent international business. If we can be here and work together, I hear a lot of times people say, hey, we've got enough liquor stores in our community. Well, business goes where the market is. Well, if we raise our expectations a little bit higher, we can achieve a little bit more. We know our neighbor. We are good neighbors. Be good neighbors. We may disagree with one another. It ends at that. Disagreement. It's nothing personal, because 9 out of 10 times, the next thing comes around, we're going to be on the same side of the fence. So I want to be here, work for you, respond to your calls, emails, concerns, work with the mayor's office. Let's create an environment to bring jobs. Second thing, one thing near and dear to my heart is effective felon rehabilitation. We have a lot of members of our community that are felons and do not have the right to vote. A lot of times they feel ostracized and left out. Well, they are just as much part of this community as anyone else. Well, if we're providing means of effective rehabilitation, we reduce the recidivism rate, because that jail sentence, at least what we've been told, is our debt to society. Well, they paid that debt. Let's welcome them back in. Let's get them jobs. They got to feed their families. And it'll reduce recidivism. A long-term plan, but it's all us together. And I think we can do that. I think there's a better way. Thank you for your time. And I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to speak, Mr. Jenkins. Ms. Armstrong.
Anybody have questions for Jamie? Anybody have questions? Yes, please.
Thank you. Jamie, one of the things that I'm very passionate about is the situation as far as our education in the District 5. I know that we do have a charter school program that you're aware of, KIPP Academy. What are your views as far as our youth and the lack, I think, of resources that our kids have? I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, one, about education, there's something I'd like to see happen. Single mothers have sacrificed more than, I guess, just about anyone, except maybe a soldier overseas that lost their life to defend the country. Single mothers sacrifice a lot. Oftentimes they missed out on higher educational opportunities because they sacrificed to raise a child at home. One thing I'd like to see happen with all these, Trevecca, Belmont, Vanderbilt, all these institutions around here, why can't we target that sect of the population to get those mothers back in school? Because we all know without education, we're not going anywhere. To your point, most of the schools in the district, they're about 90 to 95%. The student population is on free or reduced lunches. Well, the education of our children is not the responsibility of just the parent. It's the responsibility of everyone, whether or not you have children or not. Our property taxes feed the school system. At a metro council level, about all the council can do is vote on the budget. That goes to the school board and it gets handled that way. I think it's an obligation of everyone to say, hey, beat on the door and let's talk about it. Are our kids being taught the way they're supposed to be? Right now at Glen Enhanced School, they have requests for tutors to teach first graders the alphabet. Well, in first grade you should long since passed on your alphabet. Well, it's a parent obligation, but it's also an obligation of the neighbor that doesn't have a parent. We're paying for it, and our schools are consistently underperformed. Most of the time the solution is, hey, throw money at the problem. Memphis City Schools is probably one of the worst in the state. They just keep throwing money at the problem. It's going to take a comprehensive approach by everyone, especially, on a neighborhood by neighborhood basis.
Recently, Metro had before the council changing city ordinances so that the health benefits would recognize same-sex partners. What would your view be on that?
I think discrimination on any basis is wrong.
I have two questions. One, if you elected council, what would be your priorities? 1, 2, 3, in that order.
Business,
What else?
jobs for the residents of this district.
And those three.
We have 5 or 6 different neighborhood associations with certain boundaries. I like to work to have all those communicating and coordinating and cooperating with one another. What might be a problem in this neighborhood association might be a problem that this neighborhood association over here dealt with a month ago, 2 months ago, and they tried it and it worked. And hey, are those 5 groups cooperating with one another? I like to see that. And then the felon rehabilitation.
And the second one, you speak of bringing jobs to the community. We invite that. Tell me what's your plan. How would you do that?
Well, a lot of the businesses I represent is starting to talk to them, working with members of the businesses, other lawyers and corporations they represent, to bring them in. Hey, let's get over here. This area is right.
Any specific type jobs or just job opportunities?
Job opportunities, there's a wide spectrum that could be fulfilled.